Hello and good morning. This is Suzanne. How are you? I want to talk today about some toxic dietary beliefs, but one in particular, and over the next couple of sessions we'll talk more about other toxic dietary beliefs. But a toxic dietary belief is really just that. It's a belief that we have about diet that is absolutely untrue, and in fact it leads to more harm than good. And one of the toxic dietary beliefs that our program works with, our Mind Body Weight Reset program, is that food is the enemy. And look, I totally get where this is coming from. As a young girl, a gangly redhead who had not too much going for me. I was had big bulky glasses, and my mum made my clothes in primary school, and there was a group of girls that I wanted to be like, but I didn't feel like I fitted in, and the only way that I thought that I could fit in and be like the in crowd was to lose weight. At the time, I was a fairly sporty kid, and I really didn't have a lot to lose, and I don't know why it was in my head, but it was that I needed to lose weight. And I began to restrict food. I thought in my very young mind, and this went right through and it got even worse in my teenage years when I was at high school, that the less I ate, the skinnier I would be, and the more I would be liked, the more that I would fit in with the group of people that I thought that I needed to be in. And this was very detrimental to me. It led to some really awful eating behaviors. So because I didn't eat, I wouldn't say I was anorexic, I would say borderline, because I would really restrict and control my intake of food. But then I would just be so hungry, I would be starving, and I would binge and gorge myself. And of course, then I felt really bad, and so then I would purge, and I would go to the toilet and throw it all up, thinking, all right, it's all good now, it's all gone. I'm back to where I was. In my mind, this is how I thought that I could be part of the in crowd. So this is a very, very much a toxic dietary belief. The belief that I held was that in order for people to like me, then I had to look a certain way. And the only way in my mind at that point was to look better, was to have a good body, what I thought was a good body, and was to be as skinny as I could and have no sticky out belly at all. And this led, as I said, to some really nasty eating behaviors. This belief came from my external environment. It came from my mind, it came from what others talked about. There was always talk about weight at school, and there were the girls that were picked on and bullied for being a different weight, and it was very obvious to me that you had to look a certain way to be liked. So that's what I did. Fortunately, many years down the track, I did stop doing that, but it was many years, probably 10, 20 years, that I was binging, purging, reaching for laxatives, depriving my body of food. In my mind, food was the enemy. I could not have it in my body because it would make me fat, because this is what society told me. And this is what so many women coming into our program deal with, the judgment in their mind from what other people are thinking about them and their weight, because in their mind they have decided that they don't want to be fat, they don't want to have excess weight, because it impacts so much of their life, and they'll be so much happier without this excess weight. And so this really is a toxic dietary belief. It's a belief that food is the enemy. Food makes me fat, and if I'm fat, then people won't like me. If I'm fat, I can't be the person that I want to be. And this is so untrue. You can look around you at any given point in time, and there are people of all shapes, weight and sizes that are living their best life and are not concerned about how they look. But there are many who are very, very concerned, and in fact it really prevents them from living their best life and putting themselves out there. It prevents them from even seeking to have a relationship, and there's loads and loads of couples of all shapes and sizes out there. So this belief, this toxic dietary belief, really goes against the entire survival mechanism, as humans, how we survive. As humans, in order to survive, we need to eat. We are eaters. So we are fundamentally saying to ourselves, if food is the enemy and fat is my enemy and I get fat because I'm eating food, we're trying to directly go against the will of nature as a human being. And so in the Mind Body Weight Reset program, we work with our clients to help them to overcome this thought process that food is the enemy, because it's not. Food is nourishment, food is life. And it's only because of past conditioning that they have come to this conclusion. And, you know, it's probably happened over many years, decades. I mean, I'm over 60 now, and it was probably through 3 or 4 decades that I thought that food was my enemy. And I don't want anyone to go through that kind of misery, because food is not the enemy. Food is life, as I said. It's nourishment, it's nutrition, it's community. It forms part of our community. We get together as families and groups around food, and there's nothing worse than going somewhere and just being fearful of, oh my goodness, there's going to be food there and I don't want to eat it, and if I do eat it, I'm going to eat too much and then I'm going to feel bad. And there's so many biological, psychological reasons for this that the Mind Body Weight Reset program absolutely addresses, to change, switch, flick the switch. So it's not in a place of food is the enemy. It's in a place of I am an eater, I'm a human being, and I am going to satisfy the needs of my body. Because if you don't, your body is so strong, the survival instinct is so strong, it will drive you to eat in ways that are unhelpful, then, self-perpetuating that thought process that food is my enemy. And so that's just one of the toxic dietary beliefs that we work with in the Mind Body Weight Reset program. And what we're going to be doing is changing people's relationship with food, because if your relationship with food is such that it's the enemy and you don't want to engage with the enemy, and if you are engaging with the enemy, well, at some point, at some level, you must be a bad person, because psychologically, when we see war movies and the enemy is the bad person. They're the bad thing, the bad people. We don't want to be doing the bad stuff in our mind. Of course, when our body gets to a point where it goes, whoa, this body needs to survive, it needs to eat, and you find yourself in enemy lines, then of course the guilt and the regret and the negative self-talk, the self-hate, the I don't like my body thing, the disconnection from your body, disconnecting from life, because overeating, binge eating, eating foods that aren't going to help to get you to where you want to be is so abhorrent in your mind that you actually physically and mentally step out. Like, that some people go, I just go blank, I don't know, I just wake up and then I've eaten all this food, or I just eat it and I don't care, and then afterwards they go, oh, what did I do that for? And then the beat up happens, the psychological beat up happens. The Mind Body Weight Reset program totally helps women and men to let go of that belief, so that they feel that they can be in control, that they can nourish their body, nurture their body, attend any function without fear. Know that they are looking after themselves and the needs of their body from the primal perspective. There's no question of what should I eat, how should I eat it, when should I eat it. This is what we do. We give them education, which is very simple, and it's not a diet plan, because a diet plan really doesn't educate you. We educate you on the human condition of eating and how your body works around it and how you can support your body in that way. So the next live that I do, I want to be able to address another toxic dietary belief, which is appetite is my enemy. So stay tuned. Happy Wednesday, happy International Women's Day. I've actually been to a wonderful breakfast today, which is all about gender diversity, and those that identify as women, women in business, women all around the world, women in many different walks of life, particularly young ones who are wanting to step up in the world or who don't even know how to step up in the world and make a difference. This breakfast was all about the National Youth Science Foundation, I think, and how they help young women to and people that identify as women, gender diversity, to get into the field of science, which is a diminishing area. They need people to get into that field, and they offer. It was run by Rotary. It was run by Rotary, and the guest speaker was the CEO, Dr. Melanie Bagg. And awesome talk, great information, and really a big eye-opener that there is so much out there to help young people to step up and be a part of our world, to help our world to move forwards into the future. So that's why I was a bit late in running this live today, but I will post a bit more information about that and some happy snaps. And I will hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in a week or so. Okay, bye-bye.